Welcome to the Agent Upgrade Podcast with your hosts Jasmine Krnjetin and Alan Corey, where we learn the strategies of top producing real estate agents so you have the tools to upgrade your own real estate career.
Jasmine, what a great episode we have today talking to the KSM team in Atlanta, Kyle and Stephanie MacDonald, who are killing it. And we learned so much today in this episode.
They're amazing. We thought they were newer in the business, and they are. They've actually been a team for 7 years, but they closed like $28 million or almost 60 transactions last year. They're on pace to outgrow that this year, and they're just a wealth of amazing, totally cool hipster knowledge that everybody needs to know.
Yeah. Well, we're going to get into what they do on Instagram to not only find new clients and grow their business, but they're also finding deals offline, like off-market properties through social media, which I think is the way to really demonstrate value as a real estate agent. The holy grail is that off-market find, right? You look like, the best agent in the world if you can bring that to your clients. We also talk about closing gifts, what they do for closing gifts, which I think is a great idea. Especially during coronavirus, they had some genius moves, just phenomenal ways to kind of get engagement with their clients during a pandemic, and how they balance being married. As you know, there's a lot of real estate agents, out there who husband, wife, husband and husband, wife and wife, whatever you are, they have figured out the balance to be successful not only in marriage and the relationship, but also in business.
Yes, I think they actually spend 2 hours a day not talking about business. So 22 hours a day, they're all business, but 2 hours, it's all about their relationship.
Yes.
I love it.
Whatever, it works for them. So we're going to get a lot of pointers. You've turned into a great episode to just understand how they doubled their business quickly. And I think we extracted so much knowledge from them that this is a great episode for wherever you are, whether you're a beginner agent, mid-career, or if someone who's just going after and wants to double it and be a top producer quickly. This is the episode for you. So let's jump in it. Let's get started.
Enjoy.
All right, we got Kyle and Stephanie MacDonald, the KSM team at Keller Knapp. These are my favorite married couple team, Jasmine. I got to tell you, I'm so excited. Well, Kyle and Stephanie, I should tell you, I'm excited. I remember when you walked into Keller Knapp, you were this too cute couple. Hey, we just got married. We just started real estate. And I was like, no way, this is going to work. And then you guys killed it your first year. And then you're almost, well, you can get in the numbers, doubled your volume the next year. And now you're like one of the top teams in the Keller Knapp brokerage. So thank you for taking the time to be on our show today.
Sure. It's great to be here.
Yeah, thank you so much for having us, Alan. You've always been a role model and a mentor to us. So you inviting us onto your podcast, I was just like, oh my God, we've made it. Interview us for doing something right.
Well, it's impressive because we a lot of times we don't see each other unless it's a company event. We almost did one deal together way up out of town, and about an hour or two away, randomly found each other. But I guess your secret sauce, what it seems like, well, at least what I see that you're doing really well, is sort of you do a lot of stuff off market. You do a lot of stuff on social media. Is that something that you sort of a niche that you created yourself purposefully, or maybe can you explain how you've grown your business this way?
So I have a marketing background, and before I teamed up with Kyle, who was a real estate agent before I was doing social media marketing for a local printing company. And that's what I came out of college doing. And when I joined forces with Kyle, I felt like there was this big niche in the marketplace, I guess, that we could dive into, where most of the market right now is made up of first-time buyers, and they're millennials, and we're millennials. They're online. They're on Facebook and Instagram, and they like videos, and they like what they see on HGTV and all these edited pictures. So we thought, why don't we try and use social media to kind of leverage and share who we are, and we kind of approach it in more of an educational way, where we've created this content on our page where we're sharing design ideas, we're sharing information on the marketplace, and then of course us being agents just falls in the background, but people always remember us, and that's how we stay front of mind with that target group. So it was purposeful, and I think that it's worked miracles for us to build our brand.
And as a consumer of your content, and I've said this on previous shows, like I think what makes a good agent is demonstrating value. A lot of people use their social media to say, look at me at this closing, look at me at this closing, and it's just their trophy case. And it's like, well, that's not providing value to me. It's like, congrats, great. But the fact that you're talking about the designs and you're educating the buyer, or just educating whoever's following you, it makes me get excited and be like, yeah, I want to work with them. Those guys, yeah, I have the same questions. Or that's how I would do it. And
that's what we do. And rather than showcasing just we sold this house, we sold that. Whenever we post a sold house or an under contract, we share the story of the buyer behind it to make it more personal. So it's not just we sold this, it's how we got there. So, and I feel like that's educational too. It's, hey, you're not alone. This took them 5 tries, and then this house finally worked out, and here's how it happened, and here's what we did to get it, and here's why this one worked out. We also do a lot of polls on our stories where we ask people, what do you want to know about? Do you want to know what $1 million gets you in around Atlanta? Do you want to know how to beat multiple offers in this marketplace? Do you want to know how to pick the right lender, the right local lender? Why is working with a local lender so important? All those questions. And I feel like just being that source, we get messages on Instagram that are like, hey, I'm thinking about selling my house next year. Can we set up a meeting? And people just come out of nowhere, but they're following and they're paying attention to that.
I love it. I think that it to me, it sounds like there is a lot of agents that are very good real estate agents, but they're not very good at marketing. And a lot of them assume that posting like, hey, I sold this photo is marketing. But I think what you guys are doing is really using your marketing background, which I think not a lot of agents have that. Not many people know how to do a good social media post or what to post or how to even do like a poll or whatever, right? So I think that's critical to your success. I would say that just knowing how to go out and create really good content. Yeah. And that might not come naturally to most real estate agents who are more salespeople than marketers. Yeah.
Right. So I know this podcast is for newer agents or just agents that want to learn and grow. And I think if I could give any advice if someone's looking to do social media, it's just create your voice and just be you. People want to connect and they want it to feel personal. And if you just share who you are, it doesn't always have to be focused on sales this and sales that. It can be like, here's the trending kitchen, and you'll just be this valuable resource for them. So when the time comes that they're looking to buy or sell, they think of you as their all-encompassing real estate resource, and they'll come to you.
And you've got a knack for engagement. You ask leading questions, you do the polls, so it's not just someone reading and keep sliding. It's like, I want to talk to you, and then it's a conversation, and then it feels like we know each other just because I voted on your polls 3 times in a row.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's asking questions, getting them to interact. And another thing that we do is we like other people's pictures. We follow them, we interact with them. We follow other agents and interact with them. If we see another agent that goes under contract, we say congrats. And you're kind of building those relationships virtually, which is strange, but COVID kind of changed that. And I feel like those virtual relationships can turn into in-person relationships as well. So now, I think before we started this podcast, Alan, we were briefly talking about, we were in Hilton Head last week. And I was just browsing on Instagram on the beach, and we have clients that are looking for a house in Virginia Highland, and an agent that I follow had posted a little story on her Instagram of photo day and coming soon, and I reached out and I said, that's everything my clients are looking for. And she was able to get our clients in before going to market. They're now under contract on the house, and when we showed up to meet with the agent once we were back in town, because we'd never met in person, but because we'd been following each other, we already felt like we knew one another. It was like we had this really strong rapport that we were excited to work together because we knew that we ran our businesses the same.
I love this. So to me, the gold nugget that any real estate agent can do is bring off-market homes, because you're constantly fighting like, what do real estate agents do all day? I can go on Zillow and do this myself, right? And well, until you get under contract, and then you really the work begins. But bringing that nugget off-market, one, you look like a genius. Two, the listing agent looks like a genius. But those buyers and sellers, they're going to tell that story for the rest of their lives. Oh, we used Stephanie and Kyle and we found something off market, and blah 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 blah. And like that is the gold nugget, I think, in any transaction. If you want someone to sing your praises, you get a deal done off market. That's amazing. Yeah, that's great.
It's awesome, and I feel like it's so important now more than ever to keep good rapport with other agents in the industry. You've got a listing agent that has 15 offers on one of their listings. I think it's totally within their realm of being an ethical, good agent for their sellers to say, I've worked with so-and-so before, and I know that they're responsive and diligent, and they set realistic expectations for their buyers, and we're going to have a positive experience with them. I haven't worked with so-and-so. They could be great, but I don't know. And if two offers are neck and neck, having that rapport could go a really long way, because the agent can tell her seller or his sellers, this is probably a least risky offer because I know that we'll be able to work together well. And so being on social media and just tying this all together, we've been able to build rapport with agents that we've never done deals with before, or that we haven't met in person, just because we get to see how they're sharing information and content. We're supporting them, they're supporting us, and we're building all these relationships. And that's what happened with this transaction. When I reached out and met this agent in person, she was like, I know who you guys are. I've seen your name. I follow y'all. I would love to work with you. I'm going to tell my clients this is going to be a great process. They want it to be easy. Y'all want it to be easy. We run our business the same. Let's do this. And then, of course, that's beneficial to the buyers and the sellers.
Yes, I 100% agree with that. Like, I always have the conversation, here's our offers. This is what I know about the lender. Yep. If it's Waterstone, Jasmine at Waterstone Mortgage, I'm like, hey, no brainer, this is going to get done. But if it's Joe Schmo from Mortgage
Depot,
firstdayonthejob.com, I'm like, who knows? And then I go to the agent and I say, well, this is the agent. Oh, they're a top team at Keller Knapp. They know what they're doing. Here's Billy Sue, day one, license number 99999, whatever. Doesn't mean they're not bad. I've never done business with them. I don't know if they're good or not. There may be some risk in there. But yeah, if you can cut through the BS and be like, great agent, great lender, this one's $2,000 cheaper or $2,000 lower on the price, I would go to my agent and be like, let's take the less risky one. It's not worth $2,000, right? Or whatever it is. So and that's great, because usually you build those relationships by doing transactions and by doing deals together. But you doing those online, socially, you cut through all you almost get a head start. Yeah. The little shortcut. That's great. So let's dig deeper on this. Kyle, how many hours a week do you put into social media?
Oh man, so I gotta say, I think we're kind of like a double-edged sword. So I don't have the background that Stephanie does in social media. So unfortunately, I lag in that department. But still, I think the engagement is important. So I'm definitely on there every day. And whether or not it's me posting personally, it's kind of like Stephanie said, I may not be posting to my personal page, but I'm still trying to engage with some consumers that are out there, or at least with other agents and other people that are in the marketplace. But probably we spend at least 4 to 5 hours, I'd say, just kind of, sending messages to people, whether or not that's how you do lead sourcing, or, it's just staying on top of, friends and family, because that's kind of how we built most of our network when we first got into this. And, we got in early compared to most agents in the real estate industry. And, we were fortunate enough that a lot of our network was going through big changes in life. So getting married, having children. And we utilize social media specifically, just to stay on top of those events in their life. And, just those little congrats here and there, I think people really, appreciate you engaging with them. And then also, they kind of see that engagement, and it puts a little birdie in the back of their mind that, hey, you know what, we actually just got married. We don't live together. We're going to need to get a place together. Let's call Kyle and Stephanie, because they definitely are familiar with where we're at in life right now. They're staying on top of it. And then they obviously can utilize that, to go back and then check out our social pages and see kind of what we're doing within the marketplace. But I'd say, definitely majority of our day for sure is on our phone through Facebook and Instagram.
Yeah,
and so you guys each have your own personal Facebook page. You have a business page, a joint business page, or what do you do there?
So, and you got to remember, we're a team. So I take the lead on more of the social media front, and Kyle does more of like other things related to the business, like showings and in-person training.
Like selling houses and stuff, right?
What we do. That's like a whole nother conversation. Maybe just for married couples and how they work together. But he's right. When you say 4 to 5 hours, it sounds like a lot, but really for social media specifically, consistency is key, but you don't want to overdo it. So we try to do 1 post a day. And I do it, we each have our personal account. We don't have a team account. I would say mine is more of the go-to. We do have a team Facebook page, but on Instagram, it's just our personal. We're trying to be more personal. But we do 1 post a day is the goal. It doesn't always happen, but that's the goal. And then we do stories. So when we're showing homes, and so it sounds like it's a lot, but really it's just like a little bit of a glimpse of our everyday life. Here's this house that we're showing in Virginia Highland, or we're in Buckhead, or we're at an inspection, and it's just kind of like that. And then it's browsing for like an hour at the end of the day and liking people's posts and commenting. And I really like that Kyle hit on, it allows us to stay on top of our network's everyday life changes. And we might see that someone had their baby, and we'll send a little card or note in the mail because we saw that their baby that they were expecting came. And then when it's kind of subconsciously, oh, we need a bigger house. Well, Stephanie and Kyle are top of mind. Isn't it always about being top of mind? Because,
right.
You want them to think of you when that time comes.
Yeah,
I like that.
No, I like that too. And yeah, I think a lot of times people are like, what do real estate agents do all day? And it's like, oh, you're out doing things. Like, even though you didn't make a sale that day, the fact that you're showing a home, it's a beautiful home, or you're at a home inspection, it's like this. A lot of people are real estate agents, but they do it on the side. They do it as a hobby. But when you post once a day about it, you look like you're
always
very
out
busy,
and about.
successful real estate agents, even when you're not. Like, if you're a new agent listening to this, all you have to do is book agent previews at any house or go to vacant homes and you just walk through and talk, and it looks, they don't know if you have a client with you or not, but
Yeah, I think people just want to see engagement. They want to have confidence in who they're working with. You're definitely a consultant, but at the same time, Stephanie and I joke, we're like 50% consultants, 50% psychologists, psychiatrists.
For sure.
Because, the home buying process is definitely something that's very emotional, and I think people like to have that confidence that they can have comfortable and uncomfortable conversations with who's helping them through the process, because people that feel like they almost have to put a sock in their mouth and they can't have good candid conversations. We tell everybody we operate our business off 110% transparency. We want everyone to feel comfortable with what they're getting themselves involved in, and that engagement in the everyday life, like you said, Alan, just going to a preview and whether or not you have a client there or what, if you're by yourself, just walking around trying to preview properties, get a sense of what's happening in the marketplace in certain neighborhoods. People see that you're out and about and that you care about what you're doing, and that gives them that confidence to kind of work with you.
I think my stories would be really boring. Like, I'm like here at my desk. Yep, another pre-approval. Yep, here comes another pre-approval. Yep, this one is pre-approved as well. My scenery doesn't change much around here.
That's what we love about real estate. It's just, the diversity that the job has to offer. It's not kind of doing the same repetition every day. Yeah. And I think, to Alan's point, a lot of people kind of have that perception that, they just walk a house, they send a house here and there, but there's just so much more to it. And that's another way we're big on, like Stephanie said earlier, educating people. And I think that, educating people that there's a lot more, or at least what we do, there's a lot more involved in just actually showing up and being a key holder that goes into it. So I think it's imperative for these people to kind of see the complexities that go into most deals.
Yeah, like how.
So as a couple. Oh, go ahead. Sorry, Stephanie. Go ahead.
Back off Kyle and say we want to be their resource, and so it's not the other thing that's important. That I love what Kyle said about showing our stories and being transparent. We tell the horror stories too. Like, we're all about being real. So if a deal fell apart, we're not scared to share that and be real with our clients and say, here's what's happening. It's not always pretty. I feel like that builds their trust in us, that we're going to be honest and transparent. And then it's also, here's what we did to solve it, or here's what we're doing, or here's what you could avoid in the future. So it's also providing that education for them. But it's just all about building that connection somehow and hoping that they trust us. We're really big on educating. I would say that definitely sets us apart. So if I was telling a new agent one piece of advice, it would be, if you don't have clients that you're working with, go take more classes, go meet with other agents. I mean, it doesn't matter how many deals we do, right? We always learn something new. But I feel like being able to educate consumers there's such a lack of that in our industry. And when we have clients that come across and work with us, they're like, wow, we never learned that the last time we bought a house. It sets you apart, and you could be their resource for all their future endeavors too.
Right. Yeah. I subscribe to that viewpoint as well. Like, I'm going to teach you everything that we see and what and also that makes them more comfortable. Like, one, you're building trust with them, but two, it's scary to buy a house for most buyers, and the more they know, the more comfortable. It's like they say to overcome fear of flying, you got to learn how an airplane works. Like, if you understand how an airplane works, then that's how you solve. So same sort of thing. Like, the people, I can't make an offer, but if you teach them like how buying a house works, then you took all the scary parts away.
Yeah, that's actually funny you bring up the airplane analogy. That's actually what we kind of describe the whole real estate process with our clients. I'm going to be your pilot. You're going to be on my plane. We're probably going to hit a little bit of turbulence, along the way, but we're going to work our way through it. We're going to find ways to troubleshoot. And in the end, it will be a smooth landing. We will get you home.
And you guys add that extra touch of branding the barf bags that you give to your clients as well.
Those are actually empty bags. But it's funny that you say that, Alan, because as I'm sitting here looking at some on my desk, and you know what? You said that. Now all I can think about is they're going to chug the champagne that we give them, and now they have a bag to barf in when they're done. God, that's hysterical.
I was just kidding. I didn't know you guys did the bag thing, but. But well, speaking of gifts, so I assume, is that a closing gift? Your bag?
Yeah. So one thing that we really did last year is we branded. So we have our team name and we have a logo. And this year we've had a really big focus on like gift, like leave behind pieces. So we give all of our clients, well, majority, not, if you don't drink, we give you something different, but we give people a bottle of champagne or wine, and we bought these customized bags gift bags that they go in. Our idea behind that, and we have them say something funny on the front, like, may all your pain be champagne, or cheers, and our logo's smaller and on the back, but it's still there. But our hope in that was that they might reuse it and gift it to another friend at another party, and our logo is like making its way around. Someone might see it, recognize it. You never know whose hands it's going to fall into. We also do football magnets every fall and mail those out to our clients. We do Christmas cards every year. It's like, how many times can you touch base and be in front of someone? And we try to come up with things that they would use, that wouldn't just be thrown in a drawer and forgotten about.
Yeah, I've told Jasmine this. Jasmine's really good with this. Like, I have like water. Like I'm packing my kids, getting them off to camp, and there's like a Waterstone water bottle, and then like I'm stamping my envelope that's like a Waterstone rubber stamp with my address. Like I like. It's not like a lot of people send you stuff and it just goes to the trash can. Yeah. But it's like if you send a gift that has value, like I feel bad about throwing this away. I did one year. There are tandem foldable beach chairs. Oh, cool. And so my thinking was, well, no one wants to throw, it's $100 gift. No one wants to throw away a beach chair, right? But it's this tandem one that has a cooler in the middle. But every time they pull it out, I assuming it's going to be a positive experience where you're on the beach. You might have some photos of your family around. My chair is always going to be part of these great memories. Yeah. And, it's the same sort of concept. Who knows?
Next year, you're going to have your face on the beach ball when they blow up the beach ball. Your face is going to be on there.
Yeah, but maybe they end up in the trash and I don't know it. But in my head, it's serving a positive memory once a year kind of thing to them.
Yeah.
But,
I'm really big on marketing.
I like that.
Alan did his face on cakes before, right?
Well, sorry. Well, Jasmine said there was one one client who I won over because they're like, Alan, you won't believe it. The last agent we had put their face on a cake as a closing gift. And so, of course, I did that for this one client. And he thought it was hilarious. And, of course, he put it all over social media. Now people think I put my face on a cake at every closing. But that was an inside joke. But yeah, yeah, that's true. That's true. But I won him over because that's what the previous agent did. So I guess that's not... I had one idea that I never followed through on. Feel free, anyone listening, to take it. I wanted to buy 100 umbrellas with my branding on it and just keep them in the trunk of the car. And then whenever I'm driving around and it's a rainy day, I see someone trapped without an umbrella. I was going to get out, pull it out of my trunk and say, here's a free umbrella. Good luck. And get it back in my car. And then that person would be like, well, Alan's helpful, or whoever this person was is helpful. And now I've got a free umbrella. He saved my day. Maybe he'll save my day about buying houses. So
I think it's smart.
That's an idea. I think I should do it. But anyone take this idea and run with it because, there's so many rainy days and so many people trapped without an umbrella, but I haven't got around to doing it. But you're providing value, you're providing help. But that's always what we're trying to do as real estate agents.
Yeah,
so
I agree. I think some newer, like at least when I was newer, I was scared to spend money on marketing, nice marketing pieces. I was like, this is going to be a waste. But over time, I've seen people will post about. So for instance, during COVID last year, we were like, people are stuck at home, they're bored. What can we send them to let them know we're thinking about them, that they won't throw away? And we actually branded a deck of cards and mailed it to every single one of our clients saying hey, while you're stuck at home, play games with the family, play drinking games, play whatever it is. And it was wild because our friends and clients started taking pictures because we put in there, share with us how you're using them. And it was almost like we went viral because they posted on Instagram how they were using our cards. And then everybody else was like, when are my cards coming? When do I get my cards? Right. And that was a changing moment for me because I was like, no, this is money well spent. You're letting them know you're thinking about them. You're helpful, something that they're keeping and reminding them of. So if I could go back in time, I would have started doing that earlier.
I like that. And the social media, you would pay someone $5 to post about you on social media. Here, you pay $2 to $5 on a deck of cards, and they're doing it for you. Yeah. And that's great. That's really smart. So would you say your number one lead generation is sort of Instagram, social media?
That we actually do. I mean, I would say our business is 90% referral based, and that started in the beginning, having a lot to do with the agents that we met with and our personalities. I'm not a cold caller. I'm not going to do well on the phone. I know we've got agents out there who are great at that. I am not. I am an in-person, shake your hand, get to know you. So it was just really at first going to networking events and I mean things like I joined a book club or just Kyle is part of a golf club, doing things that we love and just that, real estate always comes up in conversations. But over time, it's kind of evolved into social media as our way of actual marketing besides networking.
Yeah, no, I like that. And as an old grizzled veteran in this industry, I have very little social media presence. So, I need to know what the young upstarts are doing because they're going to take over all my business.
Social media coming.
Yeah, coming after me. But there's enough to go around.
I want to know more about how you guys work as a couple, because me and my husband, we work together as well, and so it's a favorite topic of mine. And how do you guys divvy up the work? Like, who does what? Like, how do you guys find harmony? Because I know a lot of people struggle. When it sounds like a really great idea, right? And then you get into it and you're like, hey, that's my client, or so do you guys both work with every client, or do you guys have your own clients? How do you guys separate out?
So we definitely both engage with both clients, but one thing we have found is just having one of us being kind of that main point of contact is a little bit more ideal. That way things just stay streamlined. And then also, what we found, especially when we work with married couples, is there's obviously two personalities there. And trying to gauge when we first meet them, who's that stronger of the two personalities, who's going to be the one that's a little bit more involved. And then that's kind of how we dictate what we feel would be best in terms of who we think is going to be the ideal point of contact there. And a lot of that's due to personality. I'm definitely a lot more reserved than Stephanie is. She's a lot more outgoing, a lot more thorough. I'm a little bit more direct than she is. Some people like that, me being able to be a little bit more direct with them, no beating around the bush, no nonsense style. And then Stephanie definitely has the ability to do a little bit more of the motherly sense and the coddling. And I think that's one thing that we try to really hone in on, is what personality type's going to blend a little bit better with the two of us. But then when it comes to really just the everyday aspects, a lot of the time I'm spending in the car. So I'm the ones that's kind of doing the stuff prior to contracts. So meetings, going out, having coffee, playing golf with prospective clients, showing properties with current clients, getting out and hosting open houses. If Stephanie is a little busy, I do a lot of the secondary marketing stuff from that standpoint. And then Stephanie handles a lot of the stuff on the contract end and the back ends for us as well, and does all of our marketing as well too. So we definitely have been able to find kind of what we are better at. Like Stephanie said earlier, I think it's really important as a new agent. I was actually told by my first boss in real estate that there's two ways that you can kind of go about real estate in lead generation, and that's through cold calling, making phone calls, finding out what your ratio is with that, or shaking hands, getting in front of people. And I found that the shaking hands is definitely the higher percentage of success that I have personally. So being able to get out there and stay involved with, we're highly involved with several charities that are locally based here, and just kind of getting to meet people and putting your name out there has been very important from that perspective. But yeah, I mean, it took us time to figure that out. I think that you just got to be honest with yourself. Like I said, I'm more of the reserve type, so I knew right away that I wasn't going to be able to pick up the phone and call 100 people a day. That's just something that my personality type, doesn't allow for. But at the same time, you can still obviously, like we talked about earlier, reach out to people via Facebook, but you already have that established relationship there. So I think there's a lot more confidence in getting a return, conversation with the consumer, taking that approach when you already have that foundation there.
It doesn't feel so much like a cold call at that point, right? Like even if you're calling somebody that you're friends with.
Exactly. It's all about, really just creating that comfortable relationship again. Unfortunately, there's a lot of studies out there that, don't really put a good front or a good light on realtors. A lot of people kind of look at us as salesy people, and that's what we try to avoid. We want, again, people to feel comfortable with us, them to understand that we're not here. You're not just a number to us. You're actually a relationship that we're trying to nurture, and that's something that we really, take to heart.
So to kind of go a little bit deeper on Jasmine's question, do you guys turn it off? Because are you guys talking about clients at night, at dinner, in bed when you wake up? Did you set parameters around that?
That's the hard part. That's the hard part. Yeah, I gotta say, I mean, we love what we do. So a lot of our conversations, even from a personal standpoint about real estate, whether or not it's design trends, did you watch this HGTV show? You know, we sit down and we still actually consume that content as well, just because it's something that we love to do. But no, I do think it is important that you can figure out with your significant other when that fine line is. You know, make sure you take a couple hours out of the day to focus on your personal relationship. You know, us being married, you know, we obviously have a very complex relationship with working together. And one thing that we've always tried to strive to is just to not get lost in work and work only, and to still focus on our personal relationships. And we love to travel, so that's one thing that we have found that really helps displace us from work, literally and figuratively, right? You know, going, you know, out of town, getting ourselves away from Atlanta for a little bit, because I feel like once we're here, we're obviously enthralled. You get in that routine and everything like that. But it took time. It's not something that you really can expect to find, you know, at the snap of a finger.
So speaking of travel, I would think if you're both out of town, like who takes over your business?
Who watches the baby?
Yeah.
So early on, we would, when we had less clients, we would just reach out to other Keller Knapp agents and say, hey, we're going to be out of town. We're thinking about going out of town this week. Will you be in town? Can we compensate you or work something out with you to show any of our buyer clients' properties? And we usually travel with our laptop and our phone, so we can do contracts and negotiations and manage things from there. So we're not completely 100% shutting down. But last year, and I was very reluctant to do this for a very long time, we finally hired an assistant. And our assistant, we found that for us, our assistant is a licensed agent who runs her own business, but we have her as our part-time assistant. So this year for our travels, we coordinated with her. And when she is out of town, we're available for her. And when we're out of town, she has that in her calendar and she will be here. And it's nice because now we can tell our clients, hey, we're traveling these days. Our team member, you know, so-and-so is going to be here. And we've already got everything lined up for them. And so she's here to show our buyer clients and get them in the door. But everything else we're doing while we're gone, from like contract writing and negotiating and all of that.
So this assistant, does she get a bonus if she can close a deal, or do you pay her by the hour or per the door that's opened?
Good question. For her, we pay her hourly, and we guarantee her a minimum per month. So if our business continues to, no matter what gets this minimum, but if our business continues to grow and we need her for more, she gets more. So there's some motivation there for her to help. And it's been such a lifesaver. For instance, I feel like it really helped catapult us last year into doubling our business, because it allowed us, for instance, instead of meeting clients to get them in a house that they're already already under contract on, to say measure a space for furniture, which I don't really need to be there for that, she can meet them while we're at a new listing appointment. So we can be in more places at once.
Yeah, that's a common, I guess, obstacle to overcome for a lot of agents is, when do I hire that assistant? And you always feel, because when you're new, you're like, when's my next deal coming? But hiring, everyone hires, I think, that assistant too late. Yeah. Because the earlier, how can you afford not to hire that assistant? Because once you have that assistant, you can spend, instead of 2 hours measuring furniture, 2 hours on social media, 2 hours making calls, 2 hours playing golf, whatever it is. You're going to make it up, right? Because that's a $15 an hour task, but your sales calls could be a $3,000 an hour task.
I was so nervous about it, because I was like, we work so hard, we don't have the funds to make sure that we can guarantee this assistant this salary, and it was just the best decision we ever did. And if you really want to talk about being creative in a market like we're in, we started this conversation talking about off-market deals, right? And getting creative and trying to find those. One thing that we've really utilized our assistant for is when we have clients who are honing in on a specific neighborhood, we're going old school and we're writing letters, and she is delivering those letters to people's mailboxes or knocking on their doors, because she is so personable. And we've gotten so many calls and so many transactions that way from using her. She's also sending out email blasts for us to agents who have sold in the neighborhoods that our clients are looking over the last 6 months. So she'll do the research and get those agents' names and say, here's how many agents have sold in this particular neighborhood in the last 6 months. And then we'll craft an email and she'll send it. And then she'll pass along to us, here, we got one. We got a lead. And last fall, that email is what got one of our clients under contract in a neighborhood in Norcross, because it was coming up, and we got him in off market before it was available. And that was like, that hour that she spent doing that led to this transaction for us.
Yep. So then not only does she save you time, but she's making you money, right? She pays for herself, or you profiting off of her, right? Yeah.
And she wants to do that because the more we give her, the more she's making.
Right.
Do you feel that there is a point at what, like, is there a point in time when you feel like that outsourcing the social media part of it, not like the stories, but like the commenting and the constant scrubbing of, like, is anybody talking about real estate? Do you guys have that as a vision, like somebody to step in on that?
That's a really good question, and something that we've thought about. Not quite there yet. I actually love managing it, and I'm a little hesitant to outsource it. This is just me personally, because I'm afraid it won't be that personal connection anymore. But there are a lot of agents that I am friends with in the industry who also outsource, who do Instagram like very heavily, and they outsource, and they have a different perspective, and they really love that they outsource and they still have that personal connection. But it's just not something that we've really dug into yet. I mean, maybe as we continue to grow, but I just love doing it. So it's something that I don't really want to give up yet. I love being creative, so it's my creative outlet.
I'd say that a lot of like our outsourcing aspects from social media and a content standpoint really is more so how can we diversify and how can we separate ourselves through our content. A lot of realtors are definitely getting on social media nowadays, like Stephanie said, and they're getting good at it. So I think it's tough to kind of separate yourself from that pack. And we work with videographers, photographers, content creators on the side that may not be specifically tied to us as a team, but we're outsourcing and paying them to create this content that's a little bit more unique. That way we can kind of keep our voice a little bit separate from majority of the realtors that are out there.
Yeah, like Kyle said, I think one thing that sets us apart is our marketing, and we try to deliver a consistent, cohesive marketing package to all clients, no matter the price point. And in that, over the years, we've curated a go-to stager. So every time we have a listing agreement with somebody, we bring in our stager, no matter what, for at least a minimum of a consultation. And she can work with their furniture, or she has the ability to bring in like knickknacks, or she can stage a whole vacant home or property. And she also does occupied staging, which is, I think, pretty hard to find in Atlanta. I think there's a big void of good, trendy stagers, and she can bring in furniture, furniture for a specific room, even while sellers are living there, and allow them to live there with this staged furniture. So that's pretty unique. And we've incorporated that. And then we've vetted out who we truly think is, in our opinion, one of the better photographers and videographers from an editing standpoint, lighting standpoint. And our videos are a little bit more cinematic and not so old school and outdated, and they have different kind of music. And we even do 60-second clip videos where we can have them on TikTok and Instagram and Facebook and kind of help them stand out. So
I'm curious, do you pay for the staging for your clients?
Yes, we do. We just started doing that last year. We did not always do that, but now we've started. And it was a hard pill to swallow too, because that's a big chunk of money. But I think it's catapulted our brand and what we can deliver to that next level and set us up to be able to handle even those higher end luxury price points, and keeping our brand consistent so that our pictures, everything's staged perfectly and our pictures are consistent and our videos consistent. That translates to consistency on our website and our Instagram and our Facebook. And it has just built our brand so people come to us because they know what they're getting. And I think it was probably one of the better decisions. Again, a hard pill to swallow, but incorporating that was awesome. And it works for everyone. I would much rather pay for staging than do a commission cut for somebody, because the staging will help our sellers get more money at the end. It will help us sell the property faster. And everyone will just be happy. And the clients will be happier with the process, which in turn repeat clients. This is not a sprint, it's a marathon, right? So we want them to always come to us.
No, that when someone says, on a listing appointment, that the value that we bring is huge social media volume. We've got this huge, where we're going to stage it for you. It brings you higher money, higher price value, and it sells faster. I mean, that's a good sales pitch. We're trying to win a listing for sure.
Yeah.
I can see that.
And we've got the statistics to show it. Staged homes selling for 5% more and 5 times faster. And our sales to list price ratio reflects that. And it's just all about making their experience, because if they have a good experience with you and they're out talking with their friends at some party, right? Like, we sold our house in this amount of days for this fast, and our agent paid for staging, and someone else says, hey, my agent didn't do that. Why didn't I get that? Maybe they'll think of us next time they need someone. So
let's talk numbers for a bit. How many years have you guys been a team?
So we've been a team this will be our 7th year.
Oh, wow.
Wow, that's great. And then do you mind sharing I know you won awards for how many sales volume you did last year and transactions.
Yeah, last year we did right around 57 transactions, I think, and it totaled right around $28.5 million.
That is amazing, and you should take a time to celebrate that if you haven't already. Like, that is, I'm picturing the young baby-faced couples that I met 5-6 years ago, like 2 transactions under your belt. Can you imagine talking to those people and be like, you're going to be doing 60 deals a year in 5 years and 7 years, whatever. Like, that would blow your mind, right?
Yeah, it's been crazy. It's been crazy.
Real. Like, I'll call our broker Wesley and tell him, like, I'm scared I'm not going to have any business like this next year. I don't want this year to end. And, so even being experienced at this point, I want agents out there to know you're not alone. Like, we still get nervous about it too, but I feel like if you just do what's right by your clients and you do all the good things, it just keeps growing. And if you truly care about what you do, I feel like it will come. Business will come.
And to me, the 7-year, if you can stay in the business for 7 years, that's the sweet spot, because the typical home ownership is 5 to 7 years, and now you're probably hitting those clients that you sold a home 5 or 7 years ago. Or, hey, I need to get a bigger house because I got job
kids.
Transfer, I got married, I got kids, I'm getting divorced, or whatever it is. Like, you now, all that hard work where you're just buyer, no listings, buyer. Now you've got the listing and the buyer of a more expensive home, and that's the sweet spot.
That really happened last year, like in year 6. And I don't know, it's always hard because you don't know if it's the market or what you're doing. But this year we've already sold over 40 properties, and we're only halfway through.
Wow. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. So this is going to be your best year yet.
It's on track to be. Yeah. We'll see how it ends.
Yeah. and so that brings back, like, there's not a whole lot of homes for sale right now, right? So the ones who are listing their home, the few homes, it's going to go to the bigger agents, just percentage wise. But also, you're providing value because there's not a whole lot of homes for sale. So you're bringing stuff off market, which makes you close deals that that could have been in a bidding war. You avoided a bidding war and where you might have lost. So you're on both sides of the transactions, and this is exciting.
Yeah, the off market's been helpful, and I think that sweet spot of 5 years, what's really helped is we've now picking up new buyers who will tell us what they're looking for. And we'll say, oh, well, we helped so-and-so 5 years ago buy exactly what you're looking for. Let's give them a call, see if we can bring them a deal that's too good to be true. So then we're getting our buyers a house, and then we're picking up those sellers as new buyers. So we might have to finagle the numbers a little to make it worthwhile for those off-market sellers, but we're picking up new clients just to keep that momentum going. And we're creating happy clients along the way.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. Like, they didn't call you for a listing appointment, but it's exactly what you want. It's kind of like CarMax, where they'll call you and say, hey, I'm trying to buy a 1985 minivan. You're like, no, you're not, but they just want your business. Yeah.
I feel like everybody has a Make Me Move number, and I don't think you should be shy to ask them. So we just call them. We're like, hey, we've got clients who are looking for exactly what you want. If you don't want to sell, that's okay, but is there something that would motivate you? And sometimes they'll say a number that it's realistic, and the buyers will pay it, and it works.
And even if it's a no, I'm not ready to sell, at least you had a conversation with your client, and you're thinking about them. It's a touch point. I'm not wasting your call because here's an offer, whatever.
Yeah. So when time comes to sell, they're like, oh yeah, well, we should call Stephanie and Kyle. They had those buyers last time. I'm sure they have buyers this time too.
Right. Oh man. We're pulling out some knowledge bombs out of you guys. This is great.
This is great. I know.
Yeah.
I love it.
Well, thank you guys. I wanted to say, you're exciting to watch. I'm cheering from you from the sidelines, even though we're competition. But I feel like there's enough business for everyone, and I love to watch other people succeed. Keep up the great work. What would be some of these social media channels that you would suggest other agents could follow so that they can see the magic getting done?
I would say come to my Instagram. It's just Stephanie MacDonald Realtor, but that's the biggest one. So I would say come to Instagram. We also have Facebook, which is KSM team, but Instagram seems to be where it's all happening. And I think that's the number one place to start, and just start following other agents, because that's how you'll see what's coming up, and that's how you can look like a rock star to your clients. Hey, I know this is coming soon in this neighborhood because you saw another agent post about it.
So Stephanie MacDonald, that's M-A-C Donald, Realtor on Instagram. All right. And Kyle?
And I am Kyle MacDonald _12.
All right. Also on Instagram?
Also on Instagram, yeah.
All right, guys.
Because you got your Instagram account when you were 12, right?
I wish.
I love it.
Well, thank you very much, and continue your success. And then when you guys are, well, I feel like we're going to have you guys back, because you guys are going to be doing, your numbers are ridiculous, and you're so nice and friendly, and you've got pretty faces. So you've got the whole package as a married real estate team, and I can see you on HGTV one day having your own show. So I'm going to put that out in the universe. That I don't know. I think you'd be better than you think. Yeah.
Anytime. Well, we really appreciate you including us in this, and we definitely would be willing to come back anytime. Like Stephanie said, it's a pleasure to, we follow you obviously, and just to be able to, be affiliated with you guys both, in this industry, which we feel is definitely like a smaller industry and definitely a tight-knit community. It makes us very proud to be so.
Yeah, thank you so much for having us. Like, we're reading your book, Fire, at the beach. So
oh, good.
And we're trying to follow in your footsteps too. So it's just.
You mean you want to personally real estate? You want to invest real estate yourselves, or you want to work with the real estate investing clients?
A little bit of both,
yeah.
I'd say. We're definitely trying to expand our portfolio from a client standpoint, being able to, get a little bit more acclimated with how real estate obviously can bring you passive income, or, just a great investment outside of your own personal emotional house. But yeah, as well, we're definitely investors on the side, and we feel that investing in what we know best, real estate, is, the safest and smartest approach.
Yeah.
But didn't you do a few flips?
Yeah, we've done some renovating and some flips of properties definitely before in the past. We've renovated 7 houses total. It's definitely hard staying on top of those opportunities as the market is evolving, and we don't want to lose that sight of still staying real estate investors. So we think it's important to just kind of read and gain as much knowledge as possible. That way we can find all those different avenues to kind of create from an investment standpoint.
Well, I mean, you might. It sounds like you guys don't want to do the flips right now, but because you've done 7 flips, walking through a client, you can say, "Hey, it costs $2,000 to do that. I did it on a flip 2 years ago, and I've got a guy who can do it." That's that
vision. But I want to create passive income so I can just go travel without having to worry. I want to go be in Greece for a month and be like, I'm good.
That Jasmine and I
scroll through your Instagram.
yes. You can Instagram from Greece, and then you've got your team back here living off your rentals. Yeah, no, that's my game. Yeah. I love that as well. Yeah. Well, thank you guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Enjoyed it.
Thank you for listening to the Agent Upgrade Podcast. If you are an agent looking for a new mortgage lender, start with Jasmine at jasmineteam.com. If you want to learn about real estate investing and working with investors, check in with Alan at thehouseofac.com. See you next time on Agent Upgrade.